But going back to the idea of context for data, and I don't know if this is going to be meaningful at all, but in terms of software patterns, there's a pattern called the BFF, the back end for front end, which is where you essentially have a back end that's tailor-made for a specific type of client. So you might have a back end that's tailor-made for a mobile device and a back end that's tailor-made for an IVR system, or a back end that's tailor-made for web interactions. And then those BFFs, those back end for front ends, their whole responsibility is to aggregate calls to other systems so that they can deliver data as efficiently as possible to the targeted client.
That's cool.
Yeah, now that you say that, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded a little bit like that's what you were building, which is what made me think of it.
It's not. They're using the same. They're using the same API, and I'm not tailoring it based off the context it's coming in at. So there's so much overlap in these contexts that we're doing. If there's like something that the IVR needs that the web or the mobile doesn't, I'll just add an extra data point inside the same node that will use. And if it got to the point where the data need to be presented in a much different way, then yeah, I would create different endpoints.
Different endpoints is my personal move of choice. I find that to be super, super, really easy to maintain and to think about over time.
Mm-hmm. Or the same endpoint with a different flag, so that way it builds the response specifically for that one to give it only what it needs. Very great. I got to refactor now, Ben. Thanks.
Well, I read an article and it really, really changed the way that I thought about how I wired things together. And historically, when I think about clean code, it's typically about how can I make this code easy to maintain over time. But this one article posited this idea that if you make code easy to delete, then it will inherently be easy to maintain, because making code that's easy to delete is code that is not tightly coupled to a lot of other things, which as a byproduct, I think tends to make it easy to maintain.